But today the exhibit was canceled after a big outcry by Catholics. The Catholic League called the sculpture, which is anatomically correct, and hate speech. That's what they called it. The artist, Cosmo sees it differently, of course, and he's been getting threats for it. A few minutes ago, I talked with him and to Bill Donahue, president of the Catholic League. Cosmo, I want to start by asking you what your intention was with this piece of art.
My intention was to celebrate this body of Christ in a sweet, delicious, tasteful way.
Why use chocolate?
Because it's a substance that I like, and it's sweet, and I felt that the body of Christ, the meaning of Christ, is about the sweetness.
Were you trying to shock? I mean, to cause attention? Usually, when Christ is shown, he's wearing some form of clothing. This is a naked Christ, which has also caused some concern.
No more than the religion, the way they use it. I mean, I was just using it as an iconic figure. I mean, my intention was to shock people. No, my intention was to have them taste and feel what they're looking at in their mouth.
Bill, you've called this exhibit hate speech. You said it's, quote, one of the worst assaults on Christian sensibilities ever. What specifically offends you about it?
Well, of course, asking the public to come in and eat Jesus with his genitals exposed during Holy Week, I think, would be self-explanatory. If we took an image of this artist's mother and made her out in chocolate, and with her genitals exposed, of course, to be equal, and then asked the public to eat her on Mother's Day, yeah, he might have a problem. Maybe he wouldn't. But you know what bothers me? It's not even the artist. I mean, we have a lot of these loser artists down in Soho and around the country. What bothers me is that this guy Knowles, who's an artist in residence, the owner, the president, and CEO of an establishmentarian site, the Roger Smith Hotel, 47th and Lexington, in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. That's what bothers me, because now we have the establishment kicking in. And, you know, and to put this out during Holy Week on street level when kids can walk in off the street, these people are morally bankrupt, and my goal is to make him financially bankrupt.
Cosmo, do you understand the outrage this has caused? I mean, do you think it's overreaction? Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it. I think it's an overreaction. You just heard the gentleman calling artists losers, or me a loser. I think what his assault is on the public at large, artists and freedom of speech, and every Catholic. I'm a Catholic and I'm a Christian, and I think this gentleman doesn't even represent the people that are in his faith.
That's funny. You said I put out a fatwa, right? That was the guy who ran the lab. Says I put out a fatwa, I put out a news release, so you're accusing me of being like the Taliban, is that right?
Who, me? You're not that intelligent.
Oh, no. Let me tell you something. You're lucky I'm not as mean, because you might lose more than your head.
Cosmo, did you want people to eat this? Was that part of this?
No. Did you hear what this gentleman is saying, that I would lose my head?
No, you heard what I said. I said, you're lucky I'm not like the Taliban, because you would lose more than your head. Which
right,
is guys,
so
like you wouldn't do this against Muhammad during Ramadan.
No, because I'm a Christian and I'm not
trying to... Oh, you're a Christian. Please, don't lie about it, all right? Don't lie about it.
I'm not lying about it.
Yes, you are.
I want to ask you a question, Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Where do you think I should exhibit this? Because you've bamboozled an art gallery, and you've bamboozled an establishment. You put fear in people to listen to your rhetoric and to believe, just because the man has got his arms extended and he's made in chocolate, it's your Christ, and it's offensive.
That's
and
right.
by the way, excuse me, I'm going to talk to you for a minute. You keep quiet.
Now
you go to the Catholic Church.
Let Cosmo finish his point.
You go to the Catholic Church, and you're going to see statues from Michelangelo that are nude. Are you going to clothe them for the Holy Week?
Okay.
And you're telling me that apart from the Holy Week, we could do anything we want with the genitalia? What are you talking about?
Okay, let Bill answer.
All right. First of all, Leonardo, you're not. But quite frankly, where should you have this displayed? In New Jersey is where New Yorkers put their garbage. It's a big sanitation dump. That's where you should put it.
Bill, let me read you something that David Crow, the former special assistant to President Bush, who worked in the Office of Faith-Based Community Initiatives, said in reference to your protest. He said, quote, "Instead of getting all amped up over this art, Christians should be spending time facing the real and very challenging Jesus found in the Gospels and encouraging others to do the same." Are you making a bigger deal out of this than it deserves?
No,
and doesn't this,
no.
in fact, give this more attention than it ever would have received otherwise?
If, in fact, it was at some dump in Soho, I probably wouldn't pay too much attention. But the fact that the Roger Smith Hotel right here in New York City is doing this thing, no. If I don't pay attention to it, then my people should ask me to be fired. By the way, I am delighted with the response from Jews, Muslims, and others, not just Catholics and Protestants, with this this. People are basically saying enough is enough. This is absolutely revolting, and what you're saying, sir, is totally disingenuous. No one believes it. I don't even think you believe it.
But Bill, I mean, don't people have a right to express themselves, and isn't that what art is about? Aren't artists supposed to provoke thought?
That's right. And if we put swastika out on a stamp in the United States, we could call that art. It was an art exhibition. I don't think Jews would go for that. Just because art is art doesn't mean that it's a right that's absolute. Art can be insulting and it can be offensive. And when these people are whining, claiming victim status, as this guy is doing, because of my exercise of my First Amendment right of freedom of speech, I didn't call the cops to come in and censor this. I'm simply saying I called up about 500 of my friends and running different Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, and non-sectarian organizations to boycott the Roger Smith Hotel. They're morally bankrupt. I want to see them financially bankrupt.
Cosmo, I want to give you the final thought. Do you plan to display this elsewhere?
Yes, I do, hopefully, and I'd like to add to the gentleman who referred to the swastika. He's actually acting like a Nazi. And I would like to ask one question. Where do you suggest that I exhibit this? Because you basically pulled it out of a gallery for me. So
no,
where do you think...
excuse
me. Where do you think that an artist should exhibit his work that you don't infringe on?
Well, you know, go to some dump down in Soho where nobody will pay attention.
Is there a church in Soho that's a dump too?
Oh, you'd like to get
no, let me tell you something. There's two priests that have wanted to exhibit this in their church.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me their names.
I will not, because you're a bully. And you know what? I believe that there's people in your organization that would like you to resign.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Well,
and I got to tell you something. There's more filth that comes out of your mouth.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Look, you lost. You know what? You put your middle finger at the Catholic Church, and we just broke it, didn't we, pal?
You're wrong.
Yes, we did. You lost.
I have a lot of believers,
we won.
and I'm
You're
a Christian, and there's a lot of people like me who are opposed to what you're doing.
Yeah,
because
but I got a job and you don't.
I got a job and you don't? You're
yeah,
acting
I got
like
a job
a 5-year-old. You're acting like a 5-year-old, and I feel sorry for you.
I won on